I don't really want to get into anything negative because I'm really a voice that's more there for hope and for life and for answers. I'm just wired that way that I don't see problems, I see solutions. But last night I had a call in the middle of the night, which I think is worth mentioning. But I don't want to fearmonger, just trying to give an idea of what's going on. So I have a pretty close friend in England, and he in the UK, and he called, and he used to be a venture capitalist, and he's very connected to that world, and he was talking about some of the talk in the venture capitalist community, and he said, Scott, in one of the anomalies, the strange thing that's happening, he said in California, the venture capitalists are spending 20 times what something's worth. They're investing in it, and it made no sense. How come the west coast of the US this is happening? And he said we finally found out what's going on. He said the US government is basically using the quantitative easing and putting that money into venture capitalist firms on the west coast of the US and saying, okay, invest. So they're investing in businesses 20 times what that business is worth. And he said, Scott, we have a bubble. It is a massive bubble that will blow. The talk is it'll blow this year, 2022. I mean, nobody knows, but that's the speculation. And he said, because you think about it, he said the subprime problems that we had in the US, he said it goes far beyond that. This is billions, if not trillions of dollars that they're, not about trillions, but it's a lot of money that they're putting into these businesses artificially propped up. So you think about that. How do when the government, he said to me, Scott, when the government puts out the money, they print. He said they've got to get that money into circulation, and they can only do that through banks and through business and things like that. So the government, I personally believe the US government is not trying to kill their economy. It's dead already. They're trying to revive it, and they're doing everything in their power to do that. Remember in the subprime dramas that happened, it was the same sort of thing. I don't believe personally in a one world conspiracy of a room full of men that are orchestrating all this. I do think that there's a lot of men that are doing things they shouldn't be doing. But ultimately, it's a demonic agenda. I like it what the Bible says, that our battle is not against flesh and blood, but principalities and powers and the evil rulers of this dark world. And I think in many ways, man himself creates it. We get into a spirit of fear, and as we get fear, the government's going to do this, they hear that, they feed off that fear and they do it. But anyway, the US, so this bubble of what they said of venture capitalist finances that's come from the government will burst, because it's an overinflated bubble. The businesses are just not worth what the money is that's being put into them in an attempt to stimulate the economy. And then another interesting one that comes out of that is this war in the Ukraine. It's really puzzled me, like why it's just become the complete focus of everything. As terrible as it is, there's wars all over the place, and America generally doesn't get too involved in international anything. But this whole Ukraine deal has become everything, and it's a bit of a bait and switch. And I think the US government, bear in mind, in the subprime disasters, they took, in my limited understanding of this, they took the bad mortgages that were going to default, packaged them into hedge funds and sold those hedge funds to the rest of the world. And it was evil, but that's the American way of staying afloat. And basically, they shifted not all, but a massive amount of the financial burden of what was about to hit the US off to the rest of the world. And we all got sucked in, the whole globe, to a certain extent. I think the war on Russia is the same. The two largest holders of US currency or bonds are Russia and China. I saw a video of Vladimir Putin complaining about basically his debt not being paid. And it does make you wonder if America's defaulted on its payment. But they've been able to hide it in a war. So you start a war, well, they didn't start it, but you allow a war, you get in with the war, you sanction Russia. You know, I'm not getting into the rights and the wrongs, who's good and who's bad. I'm just saying financially that's a way the US can default on their payments to Russia of the loan that they owe, and then say, well, we sanctioned them, we can't give them money. And basically they've plundered Russia of the loan repayments that they should have had. I don't know for sure that that's what's happened, but I do know America. I do love America, and I do know they're pretty smart with doing those sort of things. So my suspicion is that rather than actually default and lose the credit rating in the US, they defaulted by starting a war and then sanctioning Russia and not paying. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there because it does give a little bit of an idea that this thing's going on, and don't wait until it all blows. The economies of this world are going to go. I believe in talking to these men that are mixing with the world's top economists in some parts of the world here and are. This man has been to the top in those areas. And the speculation is that this is going to go regionally, and I think personally that this Australia and New Zealand is going to be probably the first region to go, because we just don't have the clout. The US has got so much behind them that they are able to go longer. So I think Australia, New Zealand, it's time for you to wake up. Yes, we've got freedom going on and everybody's fighting for that, and that's vitally important. But please do not let that take away from the fact that you need to prepare for your family. Now, if I'm wrong, you'll know it. But if inside of you feel that maybe something resonates with what's being said in this preparation for economic hardship, then start to take some affirmative actions. Start to walk in that path. We got videos on there. Take the time to listen. I mean, after all, it is your life and the life of your family, right? I'm not saying everything I'm saying is correct, but it's a catalyst. It's something that's going to stir up in people thought. It's going to start to have you think and prepare for yourself, because all I am is a catalyst. It's not very flattering, but in another sense, it's all I am is a catalyst. Think, get moving, and prepare for your family. I've just put a couple of videos up yesterday on peace in that, and have a look, have a listen, and have a look and see what you think. The podcast series is there, so you can just put it on your phone, you can have it playing in your car, and decide whether that's something you like. You probably get sick of my voice, but until others step up, it's just my lot in life right now. So yeah, just a quick one today. Thanks.